In a stunning move that could reshape America's global military dominance, the US is reportedly considering surrendering the Supreme Allied Commander Europe, or SACEUR position, NATO's top military post, held by American generals since 1949, according to NBC News. The proposal has ignited alarm in diplomatic and defense circles, with fears that relinquishing this role signals a retreat from European security and a potential unraveling of the transatlantic alliance, at a time when Russia's war in Ukraine demands unity. This seismic shift is part of a broader Pentagon overhaul to slash costs, including merging US, European, and Africa commands into a single entity, a move critics warn could dilute America's strategic grip on both continents.
Do you still believe in NATO, in the alliance between Europe and America in NATO? Are you going to go to the summit in June?
Very much involved in this. When I first got elected at the very beginning, first term, I got hundreds of billions of dollars put into NATO. NATO had no money because they hadn't paid for years. And I said, look, if you don't pay, and we're not going to be a part of NATO, we're not going to protect, we're not going to do what we're supposed to do. We took in hundreds of billions of dollars into NATO. No, NATO is a good thing if it's done properly and if it's used properly.
Retired Admiral James Stavridis, a former NATO commander, cautions that losing this leadership post could be irreversible, saying it's the first step toward leaving the alliance altogether. A warning echoed by a senior defense official who told Politico, NATO will never be the same again. New NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte faces an immediate crisis, reportedly alarmed that a diminished US role could embolden Moscow and fracture the alliance, prompting urgent lobbying efforts in Washington to reverse the plan. The shadow of former President Donald Trump looms large. His long-standing NATO skepticism, including threats to abandon allies over spending shortfalls, now seems to be driving this push for a leaner US footprint, fueling European dread of a weakened alliance. Beyond NATO, the restructuring threatens to upend US military priorities worldwide. Speculation swirls about dismantling Southern Command's Florida headquarters, potentially hobbling operations in Latin America. In the Indo-Pacific, plans to halt a $1.18 billion expansion of US forces Japan, meant to counter China, cast doubt on the Washington's commitment to Asian security. Pentagon officials toot savings of hundreds of millions from these cuts, but the scope of the overhaul is staggering, spanning Europe, Africa, Latin America, and Asia in a single stroke. Critics argue the price is far higher. A hobbled NATO, overstretched commands, and a retreat from key regions could hand America's adversaries, Russia, China, and beyond, a dangerous opening. As the shock of this proposed transformation ripples through global security circles, one question looms. Is this the turning point where US military influence begins to fade?